The moment Sofia stepped out of the airport, everything felt too big. The air, the buildings, even the sky. The noise of cars and people surrounded her like music from a movie, but she wasn't the main character yet. She was just a girl from Seville, Spain, standing in New York City with one suitcase, a notebook full of English phrases, and a heart full of hope. Her English wasn't terrible, but it wasn't enough for this new world either. In Spain, she had practiced with books and podcasts. Here, people spoke so fast that the words blended into one long sound. Still, Sofia whispered to herself, "I can do this." It was the same sentence she had repeated every morning since she bought her plane ticket. Her new apartment was small. One room, one chair, one tiny window facing the alley. But it was hers. That first night, she unpacked slowly, putting her notebook on the table like a treasure. On the first page, she had written, "Begin again." She smiled at it. Tomorrow would be her first day at work, her first job in America. A clothing store in a big shopping mall. The kind of place where people smiled, talked a lot, and expected quick answers. She tried to sleep early but couldn't. The city lights kept blinking through her window, and her thoughts jumped from fear to excitement. She imagined herself greeting customers. "Hi, can I help you?" Maybe someone would smile back. Maybe they would say something she could understand. And maybe, she thought with a grin, she would not run away when she didn't. The next morning, Sofia woke up before her alarm. She stood in front of the mirror, practicing her smile. "Can I help you? Would you like to try a different size? It looks great on you." Her voice trembled, but she kept going. "Fake it till you make it," she whispered in English, laughing softly. The subway ride to work was like a test. Announcements flew by in fast English. She understood nothing, but she followed the crowd. A man reading a newspaper smiled at her. "First day?" he asked. She nodded shyly. "You'll be fine," he said. His kindness felt like a good omen. At the store, her new manager, Sandra, was already waiting. Sandra had bright sneakers, a loud voice, and a smile that could sell anything. "Sofia, welcome aboard," she said, speaking fast, but her tone was friendly. Sofia caught maybe half the words: welcome, training, customers. Then Sandra pointed to another young woman folding clothes near the register. "This is Emily," she said. "She'll help you today." Emily waved. She had kind eyes and spoke slower, almost like she knew exactly what Sofia needed. "Hi, Sofia. Don't worry. Everyone's first day is crazy. You'll get used to it." The store smelled of new clothes and perfume. Sofia pinned her name tag to her shirt and followed Emily through the aisles. "When someone comes in," Emily explained, "you smile, say hello, and ask if they need help. Easy, right?" Sofia nodded. Easy, she thought. Like climbing a mountain in high heels. Then the first customer appeared, a woman with perfect hair and sunglasses. "Hi, do you have this dress in a smaller size? Maybe petite?" she asked quickly. Sofia froze. Petite. She knew the word, but it vanished from her memory. She turned, checked the racks, grabbed a small, and smiled. "Here you go." The woman tried it, frowned, and said politely, "This is not petite, but thank you." She left. Sofia's stomach dropped. Emily touched her shoulder. "Hey, that was good. You were polite, you tried. That's what matters." But Sofia didn't feel good. She wanted to understand everything, to respond perfectly. Instead, she felt like her words were trapped behind glass. At lunch, she sat outside with a notebook, eating a sandwich and writing new phrases. Petite, small but shorter length. Smile even when confused. Don't panic. She repeated them softly, as if the words could melt into her. The rest of the day went by in a blur. She folded jeans, greeted strangers, nodded when she didn't understand. Sometimes customers spoke kindly, sometimes too fast, but she smiled through all of it. When her shift ended, her feet hurt, and her brain buzzed with English words she couldn't remember anymore. That night, in her tiny apartment, she sat by the window again. The city lights blinked like they were winking at her. She opened her notebook and wrote, "Day 1, I survived." Then, underneath, she added in careful English, "Not perfect, but I tried." Before bed, she whispered to herself, "Tomorrow I will understand more." Her accent stretched every vowel, but her voice was steady. For the first time, she believed the words. In the silence that followed, Sofia thought of her family back home, her mother's warm kitchen, her father's loud laugh, her little brother chasing their dog. She missed them deeply, but she also felt proud. She had done it. She had arrived. As she closed her eyes, she imagined herself a few months later, speaking easily, making friends, maybe even dreaming in English. The idea made her smile. Somewhere far away, a siren wailed, a train passed, and the city whispered back, "Keep going." Sofia arrived at the store the next morning before anyone else. The lights were still dim, and soft music played from the speakers. She stood in front of the mirror in the staff room, fixing her name tag and practicing her phrases again. "Would you like a smaller size? That looks beautiful on you." Her voice echoed a little, and she smiled nervously at her reflection. Emily came in holding 2 paper cups of coffee. "Morning, Sofia." "You ready?" she said cheerfully. Sofia laughed. "Maybe." A little scared. Emily handed her 1 cup. "Don't worry. Today you'll be great." The morning started well. Sofia helped a few customers, smiled when she didn't understand everything, and even made a small joke that made someone laugh. For a few hours, she felt light, almost confident. Then, just before lunch, it happened. A woman around 40 walked out of the fitting room wearing a blue dress. She looked at herself in the mirror and asked, "Does this dress make me look big?" Her voice was casual, but Sofia froze. Her brain started working too hard. Big, dress, question, answer. She wanted to be helpful and honest, so she smiled brightly and said, "Yes. You look big in this dress." The woman's smile disappeared. Her reflection froze. "Excuse me," she said sharply. Sofia felt her face turn hot. Her heart started beating so loud she could hear it. She tried to fix her words, but nothing came out. At that exact moment, Sandra, the manager, appeared behind her. Sandra smiled smoothly and said, "What Sofia means is that the dress is a little big on you. You have a great shape. Maybe try a smaller size." The customer looked at her reflection again, nodded, and said, "Okay, let's try that." A minute later, she left the fitting room smiling in her new dress, but Sofia still felt like she wanted to disappear. When the store became quiet again, Sandra patted Sofia on the shoulder. "Don't worry, honey. Happens to everyone. English is tricky. One word can change everything." Then she smiled kindly. "You handled it okay. You didn't panic. That's already good." But Sofia didn't feel good. She went to the break room and sat with her coffee, her notebook open. Emily came in and sat beside her. "Hey, don't beat yourself up," she said. "It was just a misunderstanding." Sofia sighed. "In my head, I said the right thing. But in English, it came out wrong." Emily grinned. "Then let's fix that. I'll teach you a few soft phrases. Americans love soft language. Like, instead of saying, 'You look big,' we say, 'This dress looks a bit big on you.' It's not about the person, it's about the clothes." They practiced for 10 minutes, laughing at their own examples. Sofia repeated after Emily. "It looks a bit big on you. This color might be too bright. Maybe a different size would fit better." Emily nodded proudly. "Perfect. See? You just need a few tricks." Later that night, Sofia wrote a new line in her notebook. "Today I learned how one word can change everything." She underlined it twice. Then, in smaller letters, she added, "English isn't only words. It's feelings." Before sleeping, she played an English podcast on her phone. Two cheerful voices were practicing polite store phrases. "Would you like to try a smaller size?" one voice said. The other answered, "Yes, please." Sofia repeated the lines softly until her eyes closed. The next morning would be another day. Another chance to get the words right, or at least a little closer. 3 weeks later, Sofia started to feel different. She still made small mistakes, but she wasn't afraid of them anymore. The store no longer felt like a scary maze of clothes and fast-talking customers. It felt like a rhythm she was finally learning to dance to. Every morning, she arrived 10 minutes early. She would stand by the front window, breathe deeply, and whisper her warm-up lines. "Good morning. How are you today? That looks great on you. Can I help you find a different size?" Each sentence came a little faster, a little smoother. Emily, her co-worker, noticed. "You're getting better every day," she said. "I told you, English just needs practice and courage." Sofia smiled. "And coffee," she added. They both laughed. During their lunch breaks, they started a little game called Echo Practice. Emily would pretend to be a customer, and Sofia had to repeat or rephrase what she said in a polite and natural way. Emily, "I don't like this color." Sofia, "No problem. Maybe a warmer tone would suit you better." Emily, "I'm not sure this fits right." Sofia, "Let's try a different cut. It might look better on you." Sometimes they laughed so much that Sandra, the manager, had to remind them that break time was over. One busy afternoon, a group of teenagers entered the store. They were loud, laughing, and speaking a kind of English Sofia could barely understand, full of slang and speed. One of them asked, "Hey, do you have this in, like, petite?" Sofia hesitated, then smiled confidently. "We have petite and also a cropped version that gives a similar look. Would you like to try both?" The girl blinked, surprised. Yeah, sure." Her friends giggled. As they walked away, Sofia heard one of them whisper, "She's nice." Those 2 words stayed with her the rest of the day. She's nice. Not she's foreign, not she doesn't speak well, just she's nice. It meant she was being seen for who she was, not for her accent. But the real test came at the end of the week. Late in the afternoon, the same woman from the blue dress incident walked into the store again. Sofia's stomach flipped, but she straightened her shoulders. She wasn't the same girl she had been that day. "Hello again," Sofia said with a soft smile. "Last time, I didn't say things right. I'm still learning English, but if you give me another chance, I'll help you find something perfect today." The woman looked surprised, then smiled. "Okay, let's see what you've got." They walked through the racks together, and Sofia suggested a red dress. "This one brings out your confidence," she said. When the woman stepped out of the fitting room wearing it, Sofia clapped her hands. "Wow! That looks beautiful on you." The woman laughed. "You know what? You're right. I'll take it." When she left, she said quietly, "Thank you, Sofia. You're very kind." After closing, Emily came over with a small gold star sticker. "For fixing the hardest mistake ever," she said proudly. They both laughed and stuck it on Sofia's notebook. That night, sitting by her window, Sofia wrote, "Mistakes don't define me. How I fix them does." She looked at the glowing city outside and whispered, "Maybe I'm not lost in translation anymore. Maybe I'm finding myself." She smiled, closed her notebook, and for the first time since she arrived, she didn't feel like a foreigner trying to survive. She felt like a person finally learning to belong. Saturday morning started with chaos. A big sale had filled the store before it even opened. The air smelled like new fabric and coffee, and the sound of hangers and voices filled the space like a song on repeat. Sandra, the manager, clapped her hands. "Okay, team, let's do this. Emily, you're on the register. Sofia, you handle the floor." For a second, Sofia froze. Handle the floor? Alone? But then she remembered Emily's advice. You can do hard things. She took a deep breath and nodded. Got it. The next few hours were a blur. Customers asked questions faster than she could think, but she kept her smile and used everything she had learned. Do you price match online? Yes, if it's the same item and color. I can check that for you. Is there a student discount? Yes, 10% with your ID. Her words felt steady, her confidence growing with every answer. Then an older woman entered the store with her granddaughter. The young girl looked nervous, holding a folder in her hands. We're looking for something for her first job interview, the grandmother said. Sofia's heart softened immediately. Congratulations, she said warmly. Let's find something that makes you feel confident. She chose a simple blazer and black pants. When the girl tried them on, her eyes brightened. I feel professional, she said quietly. Sofia smiled. You look ready to conquer the world. Before leaving, the grandmother said, You have a gift, dear. You make people feel calm. Those words filled Sofia with a joy that no paycheck could buy. But the real test came later that afternoon. A man stormed into the store, angry and loud. Your policy is ridiculous, he shouted, waving a shirt in the air. I want a refund, and I don't have the receipt. Old fear knocked at Sofia's chest. But she had practiced this. Step 1. Stay calm. Step 2. Listen. Step 3. Offer a solution. I understand this is frustrating, she said, keeping her tone gentle. Our policy needs a receipt, but I can check if you paid by card. Would you like me to try that? He stared at her for a moment, still breathing hard. Then he sighed. Fine. A few minutes later, she found the purchase in the system. He nodded slowly. Thanks. Sorry for shouting. When he left, Sandra whispered. Nice work, Sofia. Textbook calm. That night, walking home, Sofia felt light. Her English wasn't perfect, but it was strong enough to help people, to fix problems, to connect. She called her father in Spain. Hoy gain una batalla con palabras, she said. Today, I won a battle with words. And for the first time, she felt like her words finally belonged to her. A week later, Sandra gathered everyone before opening the store. Team, she said with a smile, our customer reviews have been amazing. And many people mentioned Sofia by name. Sofia blinked, surprised. Her co-workers clapped and cheered. Sandra continued, You've come a long way, Sofia. Emily's out sick today, so you'll lead the floor. Sofia's heart skipped. Lead the floor. Me. But this time, instead of fear, she felt excitement. She straightened her shirt, fixed her name tag, and said, I can do it. The morning was busy, but she handled it with calm confidence. She greeted every customer, listened carefully, and helped solve small problems before they grew. Her English flowed naturally now, not perfect, but warm and real. In the afternoon, a young woman walked in, clearly nervous. She held up a dress and asked softly, Do you think this is too much for a first date? Sofia smiled. What do you want to feel like tonight? The woman blinked. Confident, she said. Then, Sofia replied, let's find the dress that lets your confidence speak first. The woman laughed. I love that. Together, they found a simple red dress that made her glow. When she left, she waved and said, Thank you. You made this easy. Moments later, someone else entered, the woman from the blue dress incident. She smiled this time, holding her phone. Remember me, she said. I came to show you something. She turned the screen toward Sofia, a photo of her at a family party, wearing the red dress Sofia had helped her choose weeks ago. You were right, the woman said. That dress really was perfect. Thank you for being honest and kind. Sofia's heart swelled. Thank you for giving me another chance, she replied softly. Before closing, Sandra handed her a small white box. Inside was a new name badge. It read, Sofia, Floor Lead, Temporary. Sandra smiled. You earned it. Not just for your work, but for your heart. When Sofia walked home that night, the city lights felt different. Brighter. Warmer. She thought of her first day, how scared she was to speak, how lost she felt. Now, she spoke English every day. She still made mistakes, but she no longer apologized for existing inside a new language. At home, she opened her old notebook. On the first page, it said beginning from 0. She wrote beneath it, not 0 anymore. Then she added one more sentence. I didn't just learn English, I learned to be brave in English. She went up to the rooftop and looked out over the glowing city. Somewhere out there, she knew, another girl was arriving in America, scared and silent. Sofia smiled into the wind and whispered, Don't worry. Every mistake is just a bridge. And for the first time, her voice didn't sound foreign. It sounded free.